if you are just tuning in, you are, of course, listening to our mighty, mighty UC and listener-supported KALX Berkeley 90.7 FM. And you are tuned in to this week's edition of Kalx Live, our specialty show dedicated to showcasing local music. And this evening we are joined by a trio from Oakland by name of Kim. You're in for a treat. And if I'm not mistaken, they are ready to get going. So thank you for bearing with us, dear listeners. I present to you Kim here on your mighty Kalx.
We're Kim. Thank you for having us. Thank you.
An interesting choice for me to come out of that incredibly electrifying and very heavy set with something so gentle, but maybe we all need a little aftercare. If you're just tuning in, you were lucky enough to hear the sound of Kim, a three-piece trio out of Oakland who just graced us, baptized us, if you will, in their church of sonic, noisy, groovy variety of metal, which I personally found very delightful. And I am Sly Ida, here with you for this week's edition of Kalx Live. We are going to let Kim cool down after that stunning performance, but keep it locked. They will be here in the studio with us in a few moments for an interview. And with that in mind, in the background, we are hearing a selection from our archive. This is a performance by the guitar player Marissa Anderson from the year 2018. I feel like everything I have selected this evening happens to be from 2018, and it is accidental, I will tell you that. But with that said, let's get back to it. Stay tuned for an interview with Kim, who just put on a just really phenomenal performance. And we'll be back with you shortly. In the meantime, here is Marissa Anderson. Enjoy. And we just heard and are continuing to hear a selection from Marissa Anderson's Kalx Live performance in the year 2018. That's what I call a little aftercare, as we are just following a invigorating and wonderful and extremely heavy set by local Oakland trio Kim. Kim, welcome to Kalx.
Hey, thank you.
That was a phenomenal set. Do you mind would you like to introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Bradley. I play guitar.
What's up? I'm Laura. I play drums.
I'm Jessica. I play guitar, bass, and sing.
Very impressive. Let's see. Well, all right. How did you all meet?
My good friend Fauna, who we have a song actually about our name. The name is inspired by her. Introduced Bradley and I way back in 2015,
something like that. Yeah.
And because we both wanted to play music, and I told Fauna I wanted to play really scary music.
Spooky.
And so Fauna introduced us and knew that we would vibe, I guess. And then we just started playing music together, and then Bradley met Laura.
Yeah, and so Bradley hits me up and is like, do you want to play in like a scary sludge band? And I was like, absolutely, yes. And it was magical.
And then it was when the first time we played, it was pure magic.
Oh,
A nightmare.
yeah.
But a good nightmare.
A magical nightmare.
Yeah. That's awesome. I feel like that's kind of rare to have, like, it's like getting set up on a date a bit, you know?
Right,
Yeah, have a friend play matchmaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's interesting to me that you used the word sludge, because of course at the beginning of your set, that was the first word that came to mind. It's a very distinct sensibility, I would say. I wish as a DJ and a listener, I was a little bit more familiar with like the broad variety of different traditions of metal that there are. But is that how you would self-describe yourselves? There was such particularly the latter half of your set had some like very interesting sonic choices that were also like a good deal busier, but rhythmically also like had kind of like this like on the edge of your seat quality that I don't really think of as characteristic of metal per se, but it fit, you know?
People call us a doom band sometimes, I guess.
We're really bad with like genre.
Is genre over?
Right, it might be over.
Maybe, but I'll say that like we all love sludge, and we all love various kinds of metal, including doom and some black metal and a lot of sludge. Love sludgy and like droney music, dirgy music, and like my background, I guess you could say, is like really heavily punk. So like there is like like a lot of like punk music influences that we're just like I can't get rid of and shake. So I don't know if that's like also just like fully informed it, but noise and experimental music and everything. So we kind of like I think have a hard time adhering to a genre or like caring about a genre.
Yeah.
Well, it's fair. I mean, I think that's the case for a lot of people who play music these days.
Yeah.
Like, there's just so much borrowing and blending. But, like, I don't know. There was, like, a cohesion to your set despite those kind of, like, idiosyncrasies that worked so well. That were really, really cool. Yeah. No, and it seems like you all have, like, a great deal of chemistry with one another. Like, that really came through.
That's what it's all about. We got to get locked in. It's like
Rhythm
spiritual.
section, baby.
For sure. And then I'm just playing off Bradley a lot too. Whatever they're going to do.
Yeah.
That wild stuff.
Yeah, the guitar work was really, like, engaging for me.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I really, really
Thank you.
enjoyed it. And I liked the departure from the kind of, like, I, too, enjoy, like, very, like, slow, repetitive, almost, like, meditative, heavy music. But I appreciated the departures from that I heard. It was really, really cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. This is kind of a strange question, but this is something I've been talking with other friends who are musicians a lot. But do you find that it's a dark experience to play dark music, per se? Or, like, can I ask what kind of... Yeah, what comes up for you in writing and performing this kind of music? Is it a joyful experience? Is it something that kind of takes a toll in some way?
What a good question.
I feel like when we play it and write it, it's so joyful, and we're
Yeah.
always just trying to sound really scary.
Yeah.
That's all. We're always like, wait, it's not scary enough.
I love going for that.
Yeah, sometimes it'll be like, that's like that riff is too like emo. It's like too pretty. We got to make it more scary. Like it should be like you're like locked in like a 19th century asylum and like losing your mind and no one's listening to you vibe, not like you're like daydreaming in a field, you know? And that's like our vibe.
Yeah.
We do base it all on like a story we
Yes.
write, or basically every time. So even if we come up with a riff, we'll write some kind of narrative about it to kind of drive what sounds we're going to make, basically.
And do
So
you
I guess
mean
that's
that
what makes it fun.
you mean that beyond like the lyric sensibility too? It's like you're all kind of like subscribing or buying into like a tale about
Yes.
what this particular song is about.
Totally. And we're always bossing Bradley around. We're like, no, it's like,
Oh my god.
no.
I can tell from his weary expression that he's the hardest working member of the band.
Have you listened to their guitar? Jeez. It's definitely the hardest working.
Like, make it, no, like more like
Well,
you're paranoid.
No, but I like that. I mean, I like the direction and constraints and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's like, because I'll just go where I'll have no idea. I'll just be floating around, you know.
We have one song that I was like, okay, this song. I talk about hysteria. There's a song that I was like, okay, I want a song that's like about the girls that Freud was like researching and studying for during like the 19th and early 20th century, and like they're like ghosts and they want to like haunt him and like maybe murder him. So I was like, so this song, Bradley, the solo should be like you're about to get a lobotomy and you're going crazy and like you're like losing it, but you're also going to be a ghost and you're like coming back to haunt Freud and kill him maybe.
And I'm like, oh yeah.
I love that as fodder. Just like, I need you to strike a perfect balance of diabolical and vengeful.
Yes, exactly.
Which is
like,
kind of incredible direction to be given. Like,
Yes.
there's a specificity there.
paranoia, revenge. Yeah, exactly.
Those are the themes.
But it's also like truly so joyful to write and so fun.
It's so fun.
It's like an exorcism that's joyful.
Literally in my notes here, I wrote Sonic Exorcism Catharsis? Question mark. Silver lining.
Silver lining. That's the best part.
Cool. Yeah. I think that's a really cool approach to writing also. I suppose that's a great lead into the next question, which is like the writing process by what you've described sounds also pretty collaborative to some extent.
Totally. Like any one of us will come with something on guitar, or even like Jess has brought things on piano. And then from there, we'll write the narrative and just like riff on it forever until we find cool pieces and then build out from there.
That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like so many of the greats have a good way of doing that, like mining your own kind of like musical journals, you know?
Totally.
Yeah.
Just voice recordings on our phones.
Yeah, voice memos are the poor man's demo tape these days.
Exactly.
Oh, and so sorry, you said y'all met in 2015.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I would love to ask what past projects around town or elsewhere y'all have played in.
Yeah. Go for it.
The most recent, I was playing with I gotta come in. My friend Oliver and I had a project called Elvis on Velvet. It was like,
That is such a good name.
it's good, right? Yeah.
He's still doing it.
And
It's
he's
like
still doing
Tones
it.
on
He just
Tail.
put out a record, and it's so good and like fun and dancey. And but yeah, we used to do, it was like a duo, drum machine, and I would do like Casio stuff. It was fun and weird. And yeah, he's still doing it. And then before that, I was doing like, that was like too long ago.
Back in the aughts, I played in a shoegaze band called Thralls in San Francisco.
Excellent name for a shoegaze band.
And that was super fun, playing at the Hemlock a lot. And
R.I.P.
Chemos, when Chemos was a thing. I don't know if anybody out there remembers that. And one time my friends in Al Qaeda, the noise band in San Francisco, let me make a record with them, and that was really fun. And we played some shows together.
Were you on drums in all those instances?
Yes, yeah,
Cool.
totally.
Yeah, you're a very distinct shredder. Yeah,
Thank
you kind of seem like a one instrument kind of mastery going on there.
Yeah, I love to
Although-
play the drums.
Although you bring in riffs.
I do.
Do you on
She
guitar?
can riff.
Yeah.
She can riff.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love to bring in riffs. This has like brought more guitar out of me being in this band, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. I could see that. Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of conjuring that goes on in the writing process.
It's like freeing to write on something that you're not usually on all the time, because you're like,
Totally.
Fun.
Although the other day I wrote a song that we haven't played yet on my practice pad, so we'll see how that goes.
Cool.
It's all paradiddles. It's just regiments.
It's a paradiddle-based song.
I was in a band. I moved here from New York, and I've lived all over, so I've been in bands kind of all over. I was in a band in New York. We played a little bit, not very much, out. And that was kind of like a burgeoning project. Then I moved, and then I was in a band for a while in Chicago years ago. It was a duo. We were kind of like, we called ourselves outsider metal.
That's kind of how I would describe Kim.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
similar.
Yeah, maybe because of its like lack of adherence to like a strict
Yeah,
tradition.
yeah, that was kind of my vibe. I've always played a very similar kind of vibe. We were called Jeffica. We were a duo. And we were, yeah, it was great. But those are the only projects I've ever done.
Jeffica?
Jeffica, yeah.
Cool. Just out of curiosity, have you guys heard of this metal group, Jessica 93?
No.
No, we need to check that out.
They're really cool. Yeah, that was like one of the only things. I'm so sick of like this brand of like music, talking about music where people constantly have to be like, well, you sound like so and so, but if they were on like XYZ substance, and
yeah,
it's I'm very,
totally.
very tired of that. But I do feel like Jessica 93 is some of the only like, not avant metal, but it's like it's it's unusual for the form, and you guys kind of remind me of them. But anyway, this is a good time for me to say that you are listening to KALX Berkeley, UC and listener-supported radio. We've got the dial turned to 90.7 FM. This is our weekly Kalx Live program in which we showcase local live music, and we are being graced with the wonderful presence of Oakland band Kim. And with that said, now might be a good time. You have all been extremely generous in sharing with me a track from a forthcoming album. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, this song is our record's coming out soon.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. It's called Sir Kim. It's a masterpiece. If we do say so ourselves.
Sophomore records often are.
It's a masterpiece. Anyways, no, it's going to be great. Definitely stay tuned for it. But this is a song called Carmilla, and it's based on a story written in the late 19th century. It predates Bram Stoker's Dracula, and it's the first sort of appearance, or one of the first, I'll say, because I actually don't know if I can claim it's the first. It's one of the first, if not the first, appearance of the archetype of the female and queer or lesbian vampire. And it's this character, Carmilla, and she haunts, interestingly enough, the main character's name is Laura.
What?
Oh my God.
And
I want to be haunted by
That seems like a good omen.
she's like so she's this ancient, vampire who haunts this teen girl, and they kind of have this psychosexual love, dreamlike, obsessive relationship. So I was really into this story, and then I kept on sort of seeing her character pop up in other places. I know we had kind of briefly chatted off mic about another
Sly
story.
Ida herself has encountered Carmilla.
Yeah, like
as a young woman, as a sort of child.
Yeah,
So
she
was
pops
scary.
up. Watch out for characters named Carmilla. She's around. There's a really good Angela Carter story about her, if you're familiar with the author. So we took that story and then we wrote about being obsessed with Carmilla and like being haunted and obsessed with and in love with a vampire. And so this is our ode to Carmilla. And we were like really trying to sort of sonically conjure up we were thinking about like stoner metal of the 90s. I was like really thinking about like what's that band? Monster Magnet. They're horrible, but I was really like, there's like genre of like butt rock is what I think of them as.
Oh my God.
And I was like, it's kind of like almost like I kind of want to like find a way to reclaim that genre where it's like fun, but also like thrashy, but kind of stupid,
Oh my God, I'm so with you. I so badly want to be in a band that sounds like Primus.
Yeah,
Which-
exactly.
I'm just like, oh, it's actually pretty sick.
Yeah.
I want to reclaim that.
So
with
listen
you
to
on
Monster Magnet because you would probably be into it. It's pretty stupid, but it's good. And so I was like, oh yeah, I want to do like us doing butt rock, whatever that would sound like. And so this is our version of that, which is probably not really butt rock, but that's kind of what we did.
That's what we were going for.
Yeah, like we wanted like a dirty, sexy rock and roll song. And so that was kind of what we wanted with Carmilla, because we were like, what's like, vampires are so sexy. We wanted this kind of like dirty rock and roll song.
It's like her theme.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what plays when she like seduces people.
Totally.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm honestly so excited. I haven't heard it, dear listeners, so we're in this together. Well, great. I think it's time for us to listen to Carmilla from Kim, who I am very fortunate to have here with me in the studio. This is a selection off their as yet released but forthcoming album, Sir Kim. The track, Carmilla. And we just heard Carmela. That was a very super special sneak peek out of the kindness of the band's heart. The band in question is Kim, who are live with me here in the studio for this week's edition of Kalx Live. And the track you just heard comes off of their unreleased but forthcoming album entitled Sir Kim. And I've been told that it's a masterpiece. So, I mean, if you sleep on it, shame on you. Y'all have been here all night, so we'll probably start wrapping things up here shortly. But kind of in line with the sort of thing that we were talking about before, genre, is it real? Sources say maybe not anymore. Influences, you mentioned that you all are pretty into metal, a variety of subgenres of metal and the like. I find influence to be something very challenging to talk about. But do you have any? And they need not necessarily be musical.
Whoa.
Well, I will say then, like, mythology is definitely an influence for us. Like I mentioned before, these like these involved sorts of like narratives that we use to help write our songs.
Horror, just the genre of horror.
And the idea of horror. And like definitely mythology, definitely monsters.
Totally.
Real and imagined and or mythological. And like great of historical events of importance and weight and trauma. And
The dark stuff.
yeah, the dark stuff I think is like very, very influential for us and inspirational. But then like in terms of musical stuff, I think we all have such different, also we have like different musical backgrounds, which is kind of interesting.
Totally. Like I grew up playing jazz. I was like playing jazz as a kid, and it's still like hard bop drums are definitely my number one.
I feel like that comes
Influence.
through in your playing. Yeah, there was something I couldn't put my finger on, but that was like, it wasn't that it was like technically showy, but there was like a sort of like syncopated, like, yeah.
Yeah, that's like my childhood drum teacher. That was like, you know, like you were saying with the paradiddle song, it was like drilling syncopation my whole life. So I love it. Now it's like fun to do whatever the hell I want with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of a form of freedom there.
Yeah.
Bradley, for you? It's an annoying question, I know, but humor.
It's so broad. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I watch tons of horror movies, and that is helpful for this project. And I don't know, lately I like a lot of dance music. I'm kind of currently obsessed with Patrick Cowley.
Oh my gosh, who isn't?
I know. So good.
He's so good.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Someone put on a Patrick Cowley, that Surfside Sex song off Afternooners in my vicinity
Yeah.
recently, and I just kind of drop everything.
Yeah.
He has kind of a spooky quality himself, though I don't know if it was really on purpose.
Right. There's
Yeah.
a haunting. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever scared yourselves? Musically, I guess.
I feel like sometimes when we play this song Nightmare,
Oh yeah.
we can kind of scare ourselves when we play that song.
Like you get a little spooked.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a moment. Like you're just like, whew. Like every time it's kind of,
Yeah.
something happens.
Something happens. It's an intense one.
We don't practice it very much, but we'll play it.
You didn't play that
We
one
didn't
tonight.
play
I
that one
noticed.
tonight, no.
It's on the first cassette.
Yeah.
It's hard to play because it requires a certain vocal growl that is very taxing. So then it really does take it out of me specifically. But then when we play it, it really is yeah.
It's like a conjuring.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
conjuring there.
For special occasions only.
Totally.
For sure.
Yeah.
Definitely for special occasions.
When you know you have nothing lined up the next few days.
Yeah. When I
Yeah.
can stand to, sacrifice a little vocal thing.
Vocal
for
cord.
A couple vocal cords for a couple,
They'll grow back.
They'll definitely grow back.
I don't think that's. Do you have any shows coming up around town or otherwise?
the next show we play is in San Jose, actually, June 16th. I can't even remember what it's called. Caravan Lounge? Is that a thing? Kids in San Jose. You'll know.
Right.
That sounds right. And we'll be playing around later in the summer, so if you guys check us, I mean, unfortunately, I'll plug, check us out
please,
on
by all
Instagram.
means, yeah. What's your handle?
At Kim a Band. You can also find us at kimaband.com.
And I imagine we can probably find your music on...
Oh, on Bandcamp.
Oh, there we go. That's the platform I feel
yeah.
best about mentioning.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're also on the other one, but
Oh, yeah, the other ones.
We're on
We're
the
on
other
all
one.
the ones, you know.
it's hard to find us in the other one, though, because we're called Kim.
And, like, there's a million Kims.
But yeah, Kim_A_band.
Yeah.
And the record you have out currently, which we heard some of tonight, is called...
It was just called Kim. We didn't actually
Just-
play anything off the old
Oh,
stuff.
you
this
didn't?
was all new stuff. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Redacted. I take it back. Sorry. This
Yeah.
was all new stuff tonight.
All new stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's
Wow.
what we've been playing out. So when we do play later this summer in Oakland, you'll hear more off the new record for sure.
Great.
And maybe even new songs that you
New.
that
my
are not
gosh.
even on the new record. Yeah.
I mean, I hope you guys keep it going for a long time. There's no shortage of horrors in this world.
truly.
True.
Bradley, were you going to say something?
I don't think so.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I didn't
Okay.
cut you off.
Yes, very much. Yes.
Well, Jessica, Laura, Bradley, who are Kim, the band, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you here in the studio. Thank you so much for performing.
Thank you.
And
you.
Thank you for
we look
everything.
forward to your reign of benevolent terror.
Thank you.
Steal that.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Our pleasure.